car I'm racing today is a 1937 V12 Delahaye, which has kind of an interesting history because that year Delahaye configured 4 V12s that anyone who could break the record for the French at the Montlhéry track would win $1 million francs, which at the time was real money. And they were able to do that with our car, 48771, and René won the $1 million francs. He was celebrated as a national hero in France. Finally, the French were back reclaiming victories in racing where they had been losing to the Mercedes Silver Arrows and to the Alfa Romeos of Italy. I'm Peter Mullin, and today we're here at Laguna Seca Racetrack in Monterey at the annual Monterey Historics, which is a great weekend once a year for the best of the best. You know, one of the questions that comes up regularly is, Peter, if this car is the famous Million Franc Delahaye, why would you ever take it out on a track and run the risk of either hurting the engine, hitting something, or doing damage to a race car that's that valuable? Although cars are sculptural objects of art, they're actually made to drive, and a race car is made to race. Well, when you talk about driving pre-war race cars, I mean, one thing is they don't have power steering, so a lot of us have gotten spoiled with power steering. So you have to force the car around through turns, but it really drives quite well. You know, it's narrow tires, kind of like skating on ice cubes. And there's a little bit of that, but basically if you pay attention, if you brake in a straight line, if you come out of your corners properly, you know, you're pretty safe. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you do that, it's a real thrill. In addition, the limitation that were set by the Grand Prix authorities was either that the car had to be limited to 3 liters with superchargers or 4.5 liters unsupercharged. So Delahaye elected to build a 4.5 liter unsupercharged car, but they introduced a triple overhead cam, 3 cams on top of the block, central cam that drove the intake valves, and then 2 exhausts on the outboard side. And so that gave the car, you know, an extra boost when you added that together with triple downdraft carburetors. Its top speed was something in the order of 165 miles an hour. With the 4 curved fenders up on top of the tires, now those fenders were taken off for the competition, so the car ran with open wheels. It's very aerodynamic. It slid right through the wind and slid right past the Silver Arrows, much to the surprise of the German racing team. Once Delahaye beat the Silver Arrows, Hitler decided that actually it couldn't be the French car because the French aren't good enough to build a car that could beat the mighty Germans, so it must be the driver. So he instructed his organization to contact the driver and hire him and put him in charge of the German Grand Prix racing team. His team pointed out that René Dreyfus was Jewish and that maybe he wanted to rethink that, and of course that caused Hitler to say, well, we're not hiring René Dreyfus. Then World War II broke out in the following year, beginning of 1939, and Hitler instructed his stormtroopers to go find that car and destroy it because it was an embarrassment to the mighty Third Reich. So some very clever French dismantled the car and hid it in a hillside in northern France, buried it, until after the war when it was discovered and ultimately were able to acquire the car and restored it back to its original condition. And now I'm here at Laguna Seca in Monterey, racing it today, which is a great thrill for all of us. And tomorrow it will be seen at the car show at the Quail Lodge, so we're going to take it over there this afternoon after we finish racing.